Imagine finding a door that led to another world and allowed you to bring any knowledge or abilities you acquire back to the real world. The story starts as a young lady is being hassled by certain men, but we meet Yuya, a kid that attempts to oppose them. However, the men call him fat and revolting, and they wind up thrashing him. At last the police show up, and the men take off. The young lady says thanks to him for his bravery, yet Yuya claims he is fine, and leaves. We were informed that his grandfather taught him to always be kind and to help the less fortunate. We learn that ever since he was a young boy, he has been bullied by everyone, even his parents, because his siblings were considered beautiful but he was ugly. When he got to middle school, things got worse for him as he would be beaten at school. When he gets home, we see that his house is covered in graffiti that calls him names. It was just his granddad who might care for him, continuously advising him that being kind will make him happy. His granddad in the end kicked the bucket. Yet he went out and every one of his reserve funds to him. His parents attempted to challenge the will. However, in the end Yuya was given everything. But his parents completely abandoned him, so he lives alone and has to work part-time every day. At school, Yuya is graduating from middle school, but in his yearbook there are only mean comments about him. As he tries to leave, he gets stopped by his bullies. They remind him that even though he is graduating he is still their punching bag. Yuya says he needs to get to his job, but the bullies beat him up, and we see his brother and sister just watching from a distance. After that we see his boss tells him not to come back when he finally gets to his job, because he is tired of him being late. At home Yuya has a depressing meal, and as he looks at himself in the mirror, he throws a tantrum and smashes the mirror. Thinking nothing will change even after his graduation, he punches the wall, and it suddenly opens a hidden room. There are a bunch of strange items in the room, and Yuya thinks they must be his grandfather's souvenirs from traveling. He finds a peculiar door, and when he opens it, it leads to a strange room. He gets scared as a menu appears. As he reads it he learns that the door is connected to another world. There are a number of menus that tell him about various functions that are available to him, like the ability to store items, and he can control who can use the door. Although he is confused by the functions, he thinks the system is like a game, so he decides to check his status, but when he sees it he is depressed to find all his stats are so low. He looks around the room, and when he looks outside he finds that it really is another world. He finds a note on the table. Although he can't read it at first, he has a language skill, which helps him to understand it. He learns that the owner of the house was a great sage, but he is about to die, so he left it, so that whoever finds it will become its new owner including all of its contents. The house is protected by magic, so no one is able to enter beside the owner. He finds a bunch of weapons inside, but as he examines them, he finds them to be exceptional items and extremely dangerous. He has a look outside and tries swinging his sword around. He falls over but he manages to learn a basic sword skill. Thinking it could be useful Yuya trains with each of the weapons, finding that they are all god tier items, and he gains a number of skills. Despite this, his stats still remain at level 1, and he wonders how to increase it. He puts the weapons away into his storage. But there is suddenly a monster that attacks. Yuya is terrified, but moments later he realizes that his house is protected. The monster is a level 300 bloody ogre, and it smashes against the magical wall. It grabs a tree, trying to use it to break in, but it doesn't work. Yuya thinks he should try fighting back, so he throws his spear which goes right through the monster, and instantly kills it in one hit. The spear returns to him and the monster disappears, dropping a number of items. Yuya suddenly reaches level 100, and he is shocked to see his stats. After allocating all his points, Yuya decides to call it for the day, and when he tries to leave he gets a cash out option which converts the items from the monster into money. Yuya is confused seeing this, but gladly accepts it. Later that night Yuya goes through a change in his body, as it completely transforms, and when he wakes up he finds his body is different, and his clothes no longer fit. He's not sure what is going on, and his mirror is still broken, so he decides to look for some clothes. There are magical clothes in the sage's house, which freely adjusts in size, and provide a range of magical bonuses. Yuya wonders about the identity of the sage, and he looks around his garden. There are a number of different plants and vegetables, and he tries to care for them. He is suddenly attacked by a level 200 slime monster, but this time Yuya easily destroys the monster. It drops some coffee slime, and even a rare necklace, which has the ability to restore his magic power. He levels up again gaining a presence detection skill, and he is already at level 150. He tries some of the coffee slime and it's actually quite good. He decides to use some of the money he has made to buy a new uniform, ordering it to be ready for the start of high school. After that he spent every day in the other world, and he starts to enjoy himself. Even forgetting his depression, he would train and learn as much as possible about the other world. An elite goblin attacks his house, but Yuya has become completely different, skillfully fighting against it, and even using a skill to destroy the goblin. Time flies and the start of high school arrives, and everyone is immediately drawn by him. Even his siblings seem to be in awe. In class he is approached by his bullies, but they don't recognize him. Thinking he is a transfer student, when he tells them he is Yuya, everyone is shocked, and they don't believe him. When he goes to the bathroom, he is completely shocked to see himself for the first time since his transformation. After class he is approached by his brother and sister, wondering what he did to change so drastically, calling him a loser, but there is suddenly a limo that stops, and the girl he saved is looking for him. So today up to this. Please let me know in the comments section below if you would want to see future episodes of this series. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.